Hello everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we're going to dive into the moment a mysterious call comes in. I just saw a girl holding a baby who looks exactly like Tuna. And Alex races desperately to find Tuna and little Henry before it's too late. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to hit subscribe so you won't miss the next episodes. That night, Alex's small office was still lit even though the streets outside were deserted. On the table, the laptop screen still had an unfinished email page open. Several shipment files, grapefruit contracts, cancellation notices were scattered around. But the thing that kept drawing his eyes back the most was the crumpled DNA paper and the letter Tuna left behind. He couldn't remember how many days he hadn't had a good night's sleep. During the day, Alex struggled to deal with the factory, the garden, and the customer cancellations. At night, his mind was filled with only one image: Tuna, holding little Henry, walking silently in the rain, her thin coat clinging to her back, each step pulling his heart along. He reached out and pinched the bridge of his nose. If only he had held the DNA paper tighter that day. If only he had told Tuna everything before anyone else spoke up. If only he had been honest with his feelings sooner. Perhaps she would still be at the farm, drying clothes on the porch, and Henry would be lying on the bamboo bed, smiling every time he came. The sudden ringing of the phone interrupted his thoughts. The phone was vibrating on the table, the light from the screen reflecting off the ceiling. Alex glanced at it and saw an unfamiliar number. Who would be calling him at this hour? Normally, he would probably leave it there and look at it later. But these days, whenever an unknown number called, a thread-thin ray of hope would immediately flash through his mind. Who knows? It might be news from Tuna. He grabbed the phone and pressed the answer button. Hello, this is Alex. On the other end of the line was a middle-aged man's voice, slightly hoarse, seemingly hesitant. Hello? May I ask, is this the number of Alex, the owner of the grapefruit garden and the wood workshop? Yes, it's me. Who are you? My name is Tam. I sell drinks near the old bus station outside of town. The other day, some policemen stopped by my shop and showed me a picture of a girl holding a baby, asking if anyone saw her to call. They gave me this number, saying it was a family number. Alex's heart skipped a beat. He stood up, his swivel chair sliding back. His hand gripped the phone so tightly his knuckles turned white. Yes, that's right, Uncle. I'm looking for the person in that photo. Uncle, did you see her? Please tell me. Mr. Tam was silent for a second, as if rearranging his words, then spoke more slowly. I can't say for sure, but this afternoon, around 4 or 5 o'clock, I saw a girl carrying a baby pass by the shop. From afar, the figure looked similar, but up close. I'll be honest, if you compare it to the photo the police showed, it looked 9 parts similar. The words 9 parts similar hit Alex hard in the ears. He walked a few steps to the window, gently pulled the curtain and looked out, even though he could only see a dark yard. What is she doing there, Uncle? Is she alone? Is the baby? How many months old is she? Alex asked, his voice starting to tremble. Yes, I went alone with the little boy. The boy was probably still very young, about a month or 2, but he was well behaved, lying quietly in his mother's arms. The woman was holding her child in one hand and carrying a basket of fruit in the other, probably picked from the forest somewhere. Standing by the side of the road waiting for people to buy? It was pitiful to see. Alex closed his eyes and clearly imagined the scene. Tuna holding Henry, dressed simply, her face pale, standing in the middle of busy traffic, the sound of car horns and the sound of street vendors intertwined. Did you ask where she was? Or see which direction she went? At that time, there were many customers. I only had time to pour a glass of warm water for the mother and child. I saw her thank me and carry the child to the row of boarding houses behind the bus station. From afternoon to evening, I saw the mother and child go back and forth several times. They must be staying somewhere in that area. Alex swallowed hard, his throat closing up. Is she still nearby, Uncle? Or could you show me where she is staying? It's so dark. I don't know if you and your mother are still out, but that boarding house is easy to find. You can drive to the old bus station, then to my shop, and you'll see it. Behind the bus station, there's a row of yellow-walled houses with clothes hanging in the hallway, and the yellow lights flickering. Just go in there and ask the landlord. Poor people go in and out of that area all the time. They'll probably remember. Alex hastily reached for the pen, but then remembered he just needed to keep it in his mind. He listened to Mr. Tam describe a few more landmarks, nodding even though the person on the other end of the line was not in sight. Thank you very much. If that is the person I am looking for, I will be grateful to you for the rest of my life. Mr. Tam laughed softly. I will help if I can. Seeing that woman holding her child and selling fruit in the hot sun, I feel sorry for her. Be careful on the road. There are often fast trucks in that dark area. Yes, I know. I will let you know when I get there. After hanging up, Alex stood still for a few seconds. His heart was pounding, not knowing whether it was because of the sudden surge of hope or because he was afraid that it would be someone else again. He took a deep breath, put his phone in his pocket, and reached for his car keys. As soon as he left the office, he saw his mother sitting in the living room, a cup of cold tea in her hand. She looked up and saw her son hurriedly putting on his shoes, his face tense. She guessed something. Are you looking for Tuna again? Alex paused for a moment, then nodded. Yes. Someone near the old bus station said they saw a girl holding a baby that looked like Tuna and Henry. They said she had been appearing around that boarding house for the past few days. I have to go check it out. His mother let out a breath, not blaming. Just looked at her son attentively. It's late. I won't stop you from going, but remember to go slowly and don't think about other things while driving. Call me if anything happens. Alex saw in his mother's eyes not only worry, but also something like hope. He nodded slightly. Yes, you go to sleep first. I'll let you know if there's any news. He opened the door and stepped out into the yard. The night wind blew against his face, waking him up. The stars were few in the dark sky, and the yellow street lights lengthened his shadow on the brick floor. Alex got into the car, buckled his seatbelt, and put his hands on the steering wheel. For a brief moment, he closed his eyes. Tuna's face flashed into view. Her eyes darkened from lack of sleep. Her forced smile as she said, I'm fine. Her thin figure holding Henry in her arms. Wait for me, Tuna, he said softly, as if talking to someone sitting somewhere very close. The engine started. A low hum echoed in the quiet night. Alex turned the wheel, slowly leaving the yard, merging into the road leading to the old bus station. Even though it was dark ahead, he still clung to a ray of light, however small, that this time this mysterious call would lead him to the right person. That mysterious call seemed to pull Alex up from his chair. As soon as he heard the man say, I saw a girl holding a baby like in the picture, His mind immediately turned to only one place, the commune health station. He turned to his mother, his voice hoarse from not sleeping for 2 days. "Mom, someone said they saw Tuna holding baby Henry walking near the medical station. I have to go there right away." His mother nodded vigorously, her hands tightening on her shirt. "Be careful. If you see us, call me immediately. I'll wait at home." Alex didn't dare look for long, afraid that if he saw his mother's tears, he would collapse. He quickly grabbed his hat, rushed out to the yard, and started the car. The car sped out of the gate, mud from the rain splashing under the wheels, like the chaos in his heart. The familiar road suddenly felt longer than usual. The morning wind stung Alex's face, but his chest was burning. The only image that kept appearing over and over again was Tuna holding baby Henry in the rain, soaking wet, staggering, but still trying to hold her son close to her chest. "Don't collapse in the middle of the road. Just wait for me a little longer." He gripped the steering wheel tightly, muttering as if talking to the empty space ahead. As they approached the small concrete bridge over the ditch, Alex eased off the gas. On the right, a low-roofed grocery store appeared, just as the man had described. He braked hard and jumped out of the car. "Uncle!" The middle-aged man who was loading boxes turned around and recognized the face in the picture. Long sent, "Is that you, Alex? The girl holding the baby just now must be the one you're looking for." She was all wet. Her face was very tired. Her face was red and hot as coal when she was holding the baby. She asked me for directions to the medical station and the bus station. "How long has it been, Uncle?" "How far is it from here?" Alex asked. "About half an hour. Walking with the child must take a long time. Go straight to the asphalt road. Turn left, and when you see the sign for the medical station, you'll reach it. I don't think she can go any further. She must be very tired." Alex bowed his head in thanks, just got in the car when his phone vibrated. Long called. "I'm listening, Mr. Long." "Did the uncle say he saw you?" Long said. The sound of cars was loud behind him. "I'm spreading out around the bus station and the main road. You go straight to the medical station. If anything happens, let me know immediately." "Yes. Without you, I wouldn't know what to do." "Stop talking about gratitude and drive slowly. If you fall again, we'll have to go find those 3 people, not just 2. Long tried to joke, but Alex could still hear the tension in his voice. He hung up and stepped on the gas. The car sped away, leaving behind the small grocery store and the concerned look of the man who had just given him a glimmer of hope. At the same time, not far from the medical station, Tuna could barely walk anymore. She had no idea how long she had been walking. When the rain stopped, when the sky brightened, everything was a blur. The only thing clear was the heavy feeling in her hand. Little Henry was hot in her mother's arms. Every time Henry coughed, his small chest heaved, his cough hoarse and thin with fatigue. Tuna bent down and pressed her cheek against his forehead, the burning sensation making her heart clench. "Henry, hang on a little longer. We're at the doctor's. I promise I won't let you suffer like this again," she whispered, her voice hoarse from not sleeping all night. The sign, Commune Medical Station, finally appeared. The white letters on the ordinary blue background now looked like a life preserver. She struggled to step onto the steps, but her legs suddenly felt weak and her vision darkened. The sound of people talking, the sound of flip-flops, the smell of disinfectant, all mixed into a distant wave. "Don't fall. And Henry, She gathered her last bit of strength, hugged Henry close to her chest, turned her back so that if she fell, her body would completely shield him. "You there, be careful not to fall," a woman's voice shouted. Several arms rushed to support him in time. In his last consciousness, Tuna only heard someone gasp. Alex screeched to a halt right in front of the medical station gate. The old security guard jumped up from his plastic chair. "Why are you running so fast?" Alex was almost out of breath. "Sir, can I ask, is there a girl carrying a new baby here? Her name is Tuna, baby Henry, just 1 month old." He squinted his eyes and remembered. That must be right. Just now, a woman was holding a little boy and fainted right at the door. The nurses helped her inside. "You go to the end of the row, the room on the right." "Thank you, Uncle." Alex ran down the hallway, the smell of antiseptic hitting his nose, the white neon lights making his heart colder. He glanced at each door until he stopped at the last room. On the iron bed, Tuna lay on her side, her face pale, her lips dry and cracked, her wet hair stuck to her forehead. Next to her was a small cradle. Henry lay still, his forehead covered with a fever-reducing patch and neatly wrapped in a towel. Alex stepped forward, his throat choking. "Tuna." The young nurse who was taking notes turned and asked, "Are you a relative of the patient?" "Yes, that's right. She's Tuna. The baby's Henry. You're Alex." She nodded, her voice softening. The mother and child were brought in a few minutes ago. The mother was exhausted and had low blood pressure. The baby had a high fever. We gave her medicine, cleaned her body, and are now monitoring her. Luckily, we arrived in time. Otherwise, she could have had a seizure. Don't worry. The baby's fever is gradually going down. Alex's legs went weak as he listened. He pulled a chair closer to the crib and looked down at Henry. The baby was red in the face, but his breathing was more even. He reached out a finger. The tiny hand unconsciously grasped, weakly but tightly. "Son, Dad is here. Don't scare me like that again, okay?" he whispered, his eyes stinging. The nurse smiled. "You just sit here and watch over the mother and child. If anything happens, ring the bell and call us." Then she quietly walked out and closed the door. The room suddenly became quiet. There was only the sound of the fan, the IV drip, and the soft breathing of mother and child. Alex turned to look at Tuna. After only 2 days of not seeing her, she was already emaciated. Her eyes were dark, her skin pale. He gently brushed away a few strands of hair that were stuck to her forehead, feeling both pity and anger. "You really are always keeping everything to yourself. Whether you're angry, sad, or feeling sorry for yourself, how dare you carry Henry out in the middle of a rainy night like that?" As if hearing a familiar voice, Tuna's eyelashes trembled slightly. She slowly opened her eyes. Her gaze was hazy for a moment, then stopped at Alex's face, sitting next to the bed. "Alex," she called softly, her voice hoarse. He bent down, smiling tiredly, but with relief. "It's me. I found you." The first thought that popped into her head wasn't why he was here, but another name. Henry. "Where's my son?" She startled, trying to sit up. Alex quickly held her shoulder, his other hand pointing to the crib. "Calm down. Henry is lying there sleeping. The doctor said his fever has gone down. Just lie down, don't force yourself anymore." Tuna looked over and saw Henry sleeping peacefully, the fever-reducing patch still on his forehead, but his face was less red. Just like that, her tears flowed. I'm sorry. I made you worry. I don't know what I was thinking." Alex shook his head, his voice low. "I don't need you to apologize. I just need you to promise me one thing. No matter what happens, no matter how angry you are, you have to tell me first. Don't take the child and leave again. This time is enough." She bit her lip, looking at him through tears. I was afraid of bothering you, afraid your mother and sister would blame me, afraid that DNA paper would mess everything up. I thought if I left, you would have less burden. Just need to worry about your family, worry about work. Alex laughed dryly, his eyes still wet. A lighter burden? Since you left, the only thing I did was run around asking everyone, "Have you seen a girl holding a baby like the one in the picture? I can get the lost contract back, but I don't want to lose you and Henry again." He took her hand and squeezed it gently. "I was wrong to let you know about the DNA like that, but no matter what was written on that piece of paper, I never looked at you with suspicion. It was just proof of what I believed from the beginning. As for whoever is behind this and wants to take advantage of it to harm you, I will stand up and face it." In the cradle, Henry turned slightly, letting out a small whimper. They both turned to look, and all the heavy words suddenly fell away. Alex took a deep breath and spoke slowly. "I'm not asking you to decide anything about us today. The future, the marriage, facing your mother and sister, let's do it later. Today, I only ask you to promise me one thing. From now on, if anything happens, you will tell me first. You and Henry don't disappear from our lives." Tuna looked at her son, then looked back at Alex. In her eyes, still red from crying, for the first time in 2 long days, a small ray of hope appeared. She nodded slightly. "Okay, I promise." Outside the small window, the gray sky gradually brightened. A thin ray of light fell down, covering Tuna's still pale face, the big hand tightly holding the small hand, and the cradle where little Henry slept soundly. The call, "I just saw a girl holding a baby that looks a lot like Tuna," seemed fragile, but in the end, it became the string that pulled the 3 of them back together. What lay ahead, Alex's family, the DNA sheet, and the unexposed conspiracies, would be other storms. But from this moment on, at least they knew, they would not have to face it alone anymore. In this episode, Alex is exhausted and desperate after searching everywhere for Tuna and baby Henry, who vanished in the middle of a stormy night. Just when hope seems lost, he receives a mysterious phone call. Someone claims to have seen a girl holding a baby who looks exactly like Tuna near the local clinic. Alex races through muddy roads to find them, only to discover that Tuna has collapsed from exhaustion and Henry is burning with fever. At the clinic, relief, fear, guilt, and love all collide as Alex finally reaches them. Tuna breaks down. Alex confronts her for leaving, and they make a fragile promise. But the DNA secret and family pressure are still waiting ahead.